Claire, and I'm here today to talk about something that has been on my mind recently when it comes to books. So I'm going to be talking about whether or not the likability of characters matters when it comes to how good a book is. So basically, when should you deduct stars from a book because the characters were really unlikable? So this year I started writing reviews for the first time, and so for the first time I was really thinking about whether or not I liked books and what contributed to me liking or not liking them. I realized that frequently I was taking stars off of books that I otherwise liked because I didn't like characters in the book, and I saw booktubers and other reviewers doing the same thing, basically saying, I like this book but I hated this character. And for me it was like, if I really hated a character and I just didn't want to read about them, it would be like automatic 2-star book or something. Like I would completely trash the book in my own mind because I was like, oh, it has unlikable characters, it's no good. But by doing that, I was really avoiding asking myself why I didn't like the characters and what the characters were there for to begin with. And so I had this impulse to say, ugh, 2 stars, didn't like that character, when really I should have been asking, okay, but why don't I like this character and why is this character in the book? So I've been thinking about whether and when character likability should be factored into my own reviews of books, and when I should factor the likability of characters into whether or not I even like a book at all. So I've been digging a little deeper on this topic, and here's what I've been thinking about it. Please let me know if you have any thoughts on the subject, because my opinions are by no means fully formed, and I would love to hear what other people have to say about it as well. So when I started to think about it, I was like, of course I shouldn't be factoring in the likability of characters, because there are characters that are written to be unlikable. That's the author's intent when it comes to the character. Sometimes there are like evil characters that are the source of the conflict in a story, and in those cases I think it's unfair to deduct stars from a book because of an unlikable character, because you are experiencing exactly what the book intended you to experience, dislike for that character. So that's the book doing its job. It would be like saying that you didn't like Harry Potter because you found Voldemort and Umbridge unlikable. It's like, yeah, of course you did. You were supposed to. That's what you were supposed to be thinking about that character, and so that's the book doing a good job, which means you should give it a high rating. I also just hate the idea that I would discount a whole book or perspective or voice because I found them unlikable. Even if a character is unlikable, they're still in the story for a reason and may have been constructed intentionally to be unlikable, and so may still be valuable to you as a reader and to the book in a whole bunch of ways. Plus, sometimes the most interesting and dynamic perspectives in a book, some of the most interesting characters and voices, are the evil, unlikable ones. Also, the fact that characters don't have to be exemplary for you to learn something from them. In fact, you could argue that in many really, really great stories, you learn as much from the unlikable characters as you do from the likable characters. And so for all of those reasons, I was thinking, well, then I shouldn't be factoring in unlikability when it comes to rating or reviewing books. However, the problem that I've encountered is that sometimes characters will be unlikable when I don't think it's the author's intent for that character to be unlikable. Sometimes authors will try to write likable characters and then just really miss the mark for me personally, make the character unpleasant or problematic or have things that I personally find just really annoying. And in these cases, I'm not experiencing what I'm meant to experience as the reader of that book. I'm meant to like the character and I don't, and so I'm not getting the experience from the book that the author intended me to get. And sometimes annoying or problematic characters can be so distracting from the rest of the book that it really ruins the whole experience, because all you're thinking about is that one evil or problematic character. It can be really hard to see past a character that's annoying or unlikable in a story where they're not meant to seem annoying or unlikable. Plus, if what you read for is just pure enjoyment, if you just want to sit down to a book and be in a safe and pleasant space, then that may not be accomplished by reading any book with any unlikable character. If you read to learn or challenge yourself, then maybe you expect some unlikable characters, which is fine. But if you're really only reading to enjoy yourself and then you come across characters even if they're intentionally unlikable, then it may distract from your enjoyment of the book and ultimately make you like that book a lot less. So for me, when I don't like a character, I try now to ask myself, why? Do I not like this character because they're evil or problematic or annoying? And did the author intend for me to like or not like this character? So am I feeling about this character the way that the author wanted me to feel about this character? Am I experiencing this book as it was intended? Asking myself these questions has really helped me get to the bottom of certain books, why I didn't like them, whether I should dislike them for that, what I should take into account with each book. Generally, if there's a character that I find really annoying, and I think that the author intended for me to like that character, then that book is not doing its job, and so I think that's a worse book. But asking myself these questions has really helped me reframe how I think about these characters. So I no longer have the impulse to say, well, I didn't like this character, and so I didn't like this whole book, which is how I used to automatically think about it. It's also helped me learn a little bit more about myself because I'm thinking more about what traits I value, what traits I find annoying, which is always good to do some reflection on what kind of qualities and traits you want in the people that you're surrounded by, which I know seems like a really big jump to make from books to real life, but the fact is that some of these characters I find annoying because in real life I would find them annoying, and so it's important to me to be able to say it's because they do this and I find that annoying because, and it's just been a really good reflection for me to ask myself why I don't like the characters that I don't like. I especially find it helpful to ask myself why they're in the story and what purpose they serve in the work, whether they're doing their job as I think the author may have intended, or whether they're not doing that job and instead are just getting in the way of my enjoyment and understanding of the book. So I think ultimately you just have to decide what you want from your reading experience, because if you just want enjoyment, then that is great and you should go for it. And it might not be good for you to read books with unlikable characters because it might be distracting such that you would dislike the book. But if you're looking for something more complex or more of a learning experience, then you really shouldn't discount the book because of unlikable characters, because those unlikable characters might be the conduit for what you're supposed to learn or understand from that book. An unlikable character can really improve your understanding of the thing that the author wants you to understand, and so you should not hate a book just because of an unlikable character in those cases. But if I dislike a character so much that it disrupts my experience with the book and I then really don't enjoy reading a book that I want to enjoy because a character is so annoying or frustrating or unlikable to me, then that goes, I think, beyond what any author would intend. Like, authors don't want you to hate their books, I think, probably. So basically, if I'm just trying to read something fluffy and enjoyable and there's an unlikable character, it can really get in the way. But if I'm trying to read something that's more of like hard substance, something that I want to learn something new from, then an unlikable character can be the way that I learn that thing, and so then I try not to discount the book just because of the unlikable character. But I would love to hear what you all have to say on this topic and whether you have any thoughts. It's just basically a work in progress in my head about whether this should really be a factor for me, and I would love to know how other people handle this issue. So please let me know, comment, subscribe, like this video, whatever you want, but mostly I would like to hear what you have to say about this. Thanks for watching. Bye!